Okay. So we're continuing on with inequalities. We're doing multi-step inequalities today, which again is the same core concept as when we did equations, just with a different symbol in the middle. So we still start off, we want to get rid of our parentheses first, so we can distribute out. Copy the rest down, so 6x plus 7 greater than x plus 7 plus 4 is 28. 7 times 4x is 28x. Once the parentheses are done, we combine any like terms that we can. So x and 28x is 29x. We bring everything else down. 28 plus greater than still 6x plus 7 over here. Okay, so you have a little bit of a decision to make here. Normally we would say move the 6x over to keep it positive. But if you look, since all of our answers are multiple choice and they always start with the variable on the left-hand side, you might want to consider always moving your variable over to the left, which will give us some negative sometimes, but that's okay. So if we do minus 29x to both sides, 29. So that would give us negative 23x plus 7. Still greater than, we're not messing with the signs at the very end. 28, these cancel. Okay? So now we're left with what we had yesterday, just a two-step inequality. So we want to get that by itself. So we would do minus 7 to both sides. So it would be negative 23x greater than, these cancel, 28 minus 7 is 21. Then our very last step, I kind of ran out of room for. Let's see if we can. Nope, not that one. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Black. Everything else. Make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. So we want to get rid of this times 23 now, or times negative 23. It's important. So since we're dividing by a negative, it's the same rule as yesterday. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, we do need to flip the signs. We're going to have x is less than. This is just a terrible fraction. I don't know why they gave that to you, so we're just going to leave it as a fraction. I don't even care what that is as a decimal. The key point to remember is that since we divided by a negative at the very end, we do need to flip the sign. Okay. If you had worked this out the opposite way, if you had brought x over and made that 23x, and this would have been negative 21, you just would have ended up with, you would have gotten the same answer. It just would have looked, no, I'm sorry. It would have looked like that. And then you would need to know that if you want to switch the order on an inequality, you do need to flip the sign over. Okay? So if you have a number is greater than x, then x has to be less than that number. If you just think about it logically, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Let's do one more practice problem. So start off, we distribute. So notice we're multiplying by a negative here, but since we're only doing it on one side, that does not affect our inequality. So this is negative 36x, negative 6 times 2 is 12. The center equal to negative 3x minus 12x. So we combine our like terms. So we can combine these x's here. Negative 3x minus 12x is a negative 15x. Bring everything else down. And again, you have a decision to make. You could bring the 36x over here, make this positive, but then x is on the right side, so you have to flip it at the end. So we'll say for the interest of simplicity, we'll just do plus 15x to both sides here. This is going to be negative 21x minus 12 less than or equal to 0. Because when we cancel this out, there's nothing left on the right. So we can add 12 to both sides. So negative 21x, these will cancel, less than or equal to 12. Ran out of room again. Oh my goodness. It's like my first day every day. Uncooperative. No, why are you doing this? That's killing me. Let's try again. I can do this. I can do this. So I select them all. And then I'm going to shake it. That didn't work. I'm just going to group them. Group. Make it. Drag the corner. Yes. Did it. All that just so I could do this last step. So I want to get rid of times negative 21. So we're going to multiply, or we're going to divide by negative 21. Yikes. So these will cancel. Since we divided by a negative, we do need to flip a sign. So this will be greater than or equal to, I don't know why I put 12 over here. Dude, I'm losing it. That whole grouping thing just, whatever. Okay, so 12 divided by 21, we can simplify that. We can divide both those by 3, so this would be negative 4/7. And there you go. So mathematically, again, nothing different here. So you get rid of your parentheses, combine your like terms, bring your x's or whatever your variable is together, and then solve for x. And then at the end, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you do need to flip the sign. Notice anywhere else in the problem, the sign stayed the same. It was not until the very last step that we have to consider whether or not to flip our sign. Okay, so if you got questions, let me know. Otherwise, got some practice problems to work on. Okay. And